Hello everyone, in this video we are going to discuss class 8 NCERT Science chapter 4 Materials, Metals and Non-Metals part 1. The topics we will be covering in this chapter are how to classify materials, then the physical properties of metals and non-metals like hardness, luster, malleability, ductility, sonorous and good conductors of heat and electricity. And then we are going to discuss the chemical properties of both metals and non-metals, in which we will be seeing the reactions with oxygen, water, acids and bases. Then a very important topic we will be covering in this chapter is displacement reactions, and the last topic will be uses of metals and non-metals in our day-to-day lives. So let's proceed. How can we classify materials? So in the beginning of the chapter, a very prominent question comes that how can we classify materials? So materials can be of two types, metals and non-metals. Now, how can we differentiate between these materials? How can we say whether it is a metal or a non-metal? See that as you can see in these two pictures. Now, if I ask that which one of them is a metal and which one of them is a non-metal, then what will be your answer? To know this question, you need to know the physical and chemical properties. So the meaning of what I'm saying is that to differentiate between metals and non-metals, we have to know the physical and chemical properties on which basis we are going to differentiate them. So let's discuss these properties. Physical properties. The first two physical properties which are there is hardness and luster. Now this you know is iron, this is aluminium, and this is copper. What one thing is common in all of them is that they are having a very shiny appearance. Luster means shiny only. So these are having a very shiny appearance as well as they are very hard. We can know that iron is used in many articles, aluminium is as well, and copper as well. So what we conclude here is that they are very hard as well as the luster. So we know that iron is a metal, aluminium is a metal, as well as the copper is a metal. So what two things we find common in all these metals is that they're hard and shiny. So what we conclude here is that materials having hardness and shiny appearance are metals. Now consider these materials. This is coal, this is sulfur, and this is carbon. Now just observe these figures and tell, can you think that these figures are shiny in appearance? Not at all. You can see so how dull appearance it is having. Can you say it is soft? No. You must visit a shop and just look and touch these materials. You will find that they are very soft. So we find it is very opposite to the metal that we have discussed earlier. It is very soft and is not at all shiny. It's very dull in appearance. So we know that coal is a non-metal, sulfur is a non-metal, and carbon is a non-metal. So what we are finding common in all these three non-metals is that they are very dull in appearance as well as they are very soft. What we conclude for non-metals is that materials that are soft and dull in appearance are non-metals. Now here I want to clear one thing is that what we're discussing here is not for all materials. What I mean to say that we say that now metals are hard and lustrous and non-metals are soft and dull. So we say this generally. For all materials, it is not necessary that if it is soft then it is a non-metal. We use the word generally here instead of always. For example, sodium. Sodium is a metal, but it is very soft that it can be cut with a knife. So now we cannot consider it as a non-metal. No. So there are some exceptions in science that we need to take care in our minds whenever we know about them. So we are going to learn about these exceptions also later in the chapter. Let's proceed. Malleability. So this is another property of metals and non-metals that we are going to discuss, that how this malleability property is differentiated in both metals and non-metals. You might have seen a blacksmith beating iron article with a hammer. What he does is shows that he heats the iron article and then with the help of a hammer he beats them. So what he does is that he converts them into thin sheets. And then when iron is converted into a thin sheet, he can make new articles out of it. For example, he can make an iron from it, he can make any tool from it, he can make a screw, anything he can make from this iron piece. Similarly, you must have seen a goldsmith. He is too heating here gold piece, and then when it will be converted into a thin sheet, he will convert it into a new jewelry, maybe a beautiful one. So here what we're seeing is that the old articles which are not of any use, they are just beating them and now converting them into thin sheets. and then reusing them. So what we found common in iron and gold is that they're malleable. So what is malleability? What is the proper definition of malleability? Is that this is a property of metals by which they can be beaten into thin sheets. It is called malleability. On the other hand, if you see this, you know it is coal. Have you ever tried to beat a piece of coal? If not, you may try now. What will be the output? You will see this. What this means is that if you will try to beat a piece of coal with a hammer, you will not get a thin sheet. You will get this powdery mass. So we say that coal is not acquiring the property of malleability. Can we say that coal is malleable? No, not at all. For these kinds of materials, we use the word brittle. Brittle means that they get converted into a powdery mass instead of getting converted into thin sheets. Same is with sulfur. Same is with carbon as well. So some of these things are what they are. They will get tapped into a very powdery mass instead of getting converted into thin sheets. So this is all for today. For more such videos, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you. And our part 2 is coming soon on other properties of physical properties as well. Thank you. Keep learning.